Alrighty folks, 72 C10 Cheyenne is back in the Real World Garage. We got a little bit of work to do to it. This is probably one of the most original C10s anywhere. We got to give it a bath, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about it a little bit. So we have installed the dash top. That's what the name brand of this company that makes this is. It's called Dash Top. It's a dash pad cover. It fits so well, and I don't even think I'm going to put the adhesive on it. It calls for a little bit of a trim adhesive. It popped on and is staying in place and fits very nicely. I don't know that there's any point in putting adhesive on it. If you ever had to take this back out and you had the adhesive on it, it's gonna be a mess. So I think I'm just going to leave it alone for right now and marinate on it and see if I want to glue it in or if I just want to leave it popped on. But that's it. This is called Dash Top. It's the name of the company. There's also another company out there called Coverlay, which you may have heard of. And the Dash Top seems to be just as good as Coverlay. It's an exact fit, pops right on, and man, it just makes that whole thing look like brand new. So we're fixing to move over here. I've been messing with the steering wheel and wanted to get all my ducks in a row before I started trying to show you what you need to do there. So let me get it pulled together and we'll start talking about the steering wheel. All right, the steering wheel is pretty straightforward, pretty simple. There's a couple things that I need to show before we get in here. You can see this steering wheel has pretty well deteriorated after 50 years. It has shrunk, and the centerpiece doesn't fit properly, and nothing fits properly. The horn didn't work anymore because the button was so swollen it wouldn't go in and out like it was supposed to. You can't, even without the piece in the middle, you can't get the horn button to fit. It's all swollen and ruined. So let's take a look at this horn and all the components that go with it. All right, this comes out of that centerpiece. There's 3 screws that hold this ring here in place. This ring here is actually the ring that holds the horn button. Horn button pops down into this, and this piece actually works against this. You can see this is a big piece of spring steel. It's held clocked in position. Get it all picked up here where we can show you. Those plastic bushings. You see how the plastic bushings hold that piece in place. And all of that lays down into the center of the new steering wheel. There's a lip down here in the bottom that spring steel rides on and keeps it just off of this metal hub, so that when you push the button it makes that little diaphragm spring push down and it comes into contact with this, which is grounded, and then it makes the horn blow. So you want to make sure that you have all your isolators, that they're still good, because if they're not still good and they let something contact, the horn's just going to be blowing all the time going down the road. So let me get set up. We'll take this we're going to take the steering wheel off. There's not much to it. I've got my steering wheel puller, a couple of bolts, and we'll get it swapped out. It's pretty straightforward. It's a 3/4 nut on the steering column to hold the steering wheel on, and you can see it's still held in place. I believe these are 5/16 by 16 bolts. You go ahead and get one started by hand. Slide the other one down in there. Get them to go. We can do it by, we can get my old trusty Leatherman to tighten them up just a smidge. Just want them to be even. It's a 1/2 inch headed bolts, but let's take the impact, run it down. Like that, give it a little bump. You don't want to get carried away. You're not supposed to use an impact on those, but just if you use an impact, don't get carried away. If it doesn't come right off, have to put a little pressure on it. Put a little pressure and take a hammer and wrap it right on the end right here, and it'll usually bust it on loose. I'm not too concerned about this steering wheel too much because it's garbage. You can see this is your horn ring, and you have a hole in your, right here in your steering column, excuse me, and you have a hole right here in your steering wheel that you have to line up. You want to make sure that your steering wheel is centered. There we go. That washer over, it was the other way. And impact. Just a couple of bumps. You don't want to get carried away. I'm sure that there's a torque spec in a service manual somewhere, but I don't know what it is. So, but we've got it snugged down, and we're going to put all this stuff together in the middle. Give me just a second, we'll get it together. Let's see. It is right here. I have the horns unplugged so that I don't accidentally keep blowing them while I'm putting this all back together. There's a notch in this cup that the, like I said, that the horn button sits into. We're going to see if we can get this all lined back up. All the little fiddly little pieces. You can hear the relay, the horn relay trying to go. We're going to try to do this by hand. Sure hope my mic hadn't died. All right, now let's see if we can get this to line up. Where are you at? There's one. There's the other one. Yep. I took the bit, put it in my hand like that, and I'm able to position it a lot better. You're able to finagle everything around. But I put the spring in first, then I put the cup in. Why is the horn? There it goes. Didn't think I was, thought I was pressing it, but I wasn't. I had to get a longer bit. Just a light little snick. Slightly snug it up. These don't need to be extremely tight, just snug down. All right, now let me find the horn button, but I can go ahead. All right, there you go. You can see the 3 screws a little better. You can see the nut that I was dealing with a little better. And this is, let me get my finger in here. You can probably hear that. That piece right there makes the horn work. So you can actually see it spark. So we find the horn button. Nice, there we go. We got the horn button to get it flipped around there where it goes. I got the little piece at the top. All right, let's go plug up the horn. There's the horn there. And this was a dual horn. And when I came out here and looked a few minutes ago, the other horn, which is over here to the side, was unhooked for some reason. Let's see what it sounds like. Yeah, there you go. Just like that. Horn's fixed, steering wheel's on. So the piece of door trim keeps falling off. It's come off a couple different times. Part of the problem is Chevrolet, in their infinite wisdom, used these tabs right here, and they take speed nuts. The one on this end, well, they put it behind a door hinge, so you have a very difficult time getting the nut started on it. I have a bag of these speed nuts, and I've got a roll of 3M adhesive to attach it in the middle, and we're going to give it a shot. So there's not much to this. You cut off a little small, you just measure the width of whatever you're trying to adhere it to. Cut your tape just like that. Stick it down, press it good, and then you take and you can get up under the edge of it. That's the only trouble with this double-sided adhesive. 3M adhesive is getting that piece off. I usually find that if I take the edge of the razor blade, I can catch it and then peel it off. And that will keep the center piece of it adhered to the vehicle. And then you've got, like I said, the 2 studs on each end that put the nuts on, and it's 3/8 head, and just gently snug it to the vehicle. So let me get going on this. I've got 2, 4, 5 more to go, and then 2 speed nuts. We'll see what happens. If you look carefully, right behind that hinge, you can actually see the hole and where I have to try to start that nut. All I can say is, Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. All right, what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and get it lined up and get this nut here. Go ahead and get it started. Go ahead and get it stuck to the truck and all these other places. Hopefully holding it in place. Let's see, get this nut here started and get it held on. An easy one to get to. 3/8 wrench. There we go, got nice and snugged up. push it down here, holding in place on all the other spots. And then we're going to try to get the nut started up front. Well, there just wasn't any getting my fingers behind that door hinge. So what I did was is I came up here where the piece is that holds it on with a nut, and I used it self-adhesive here and here on either side, and I can't pry it back off the vehicle. It's good and stuck, and it's got, like I said, it's got the one trim clamp right here with a nut, and I don't believe it's coming off. So we've had a really good day. We got the dash cover installed, we got the steering wheel on, make the horn work, make both horns work again, and we got this piece of side trim molding back on. Hopefully next time when we come back, we'll be able to do that fuel sender and be able to get the carpet in this thing. I've got to order a hog ring kit if we're going to do the upholstery, and I got to get with the owner of this thing and see if he really wants to go ahead and do that. The upholstery kit for this truck for an OEM factory look is $375. So let me get in touch with him and we'll figure out what we're going to do. And while I'm doing that, why don't you go watch another video coming on the screen right now.